Went to play kickball yesterday after tennis, Jessica.
You're killing it.
And got up to bat. We looked at the clouds, heard the thunder rumbling, like, yo, let's go. And got up to bat. The skies start vomiting water.
Yeah, that's
and
exactly what it was doing.
They're like, hey, we're done. We're calling it. And everybody ran off the field. And I was just standing at home plate. I was like, I just want to kick.
I just want to play.
I just want to kick once.
I watched somebody out my window try to outrun the storm.
Oh.
Like they were on a run, and I'm like watching the storm come in, and I'm watching them run. They didn't make it.
Tough.
Cold
world.
It was pouring yesterday. That was one of those.
Happened all
welcome
night.
to spring, summer.
Right?
I don't know.
Because I woke up, the rain woke me up at like 3. And is there rumbling going on around here? Rain woke me up at like 3, and it was still coming down pretty hard.
Maybe that's why I woke up. I woke up at like 3:30 with my heart just like racing.
What was the song?
I'm like a bird, I wanna fly away. I don't know where my soul is. I don't know where my home is. But all I need to know from you is I'm like a bird, I wanna fly away. Such range from Nelly Furtado.
She changed completely.
I thought she was so lame with that song, and then I thought she was so hot.
Got with Timbaland and Missy Elliott and was just completely different. I listened to that song last week. It's still incredible.
Love that song.
That song is so good.
Maneater, love that song.
Good.
What else did she do? Now I can't think of another.
She went from
da 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 da.
You're as bad as Jacob.
Da, da, da. You don't even know nothing at all
but
of
me.
Yeah. What is that song called?
I can't remember it, but I know what you're talking about.
See, you got it. Jacob was out here trying to sing I Feel Love, and it sounded like What If God Was One of Us. What's up, everybody? Ooh, that was a fun transition. It is Friday, June 13th, Friday the 13th. It is going to be a good day. Jessica Benson with you from the Grind City Media Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. CJ Hurt behind the glass. Coming up on today's show, NBA Finals continue tonight. Game 4 in Indiana. Is it a must-win for the Oklahoma City Thunder? Whitaker is going to join us to talk finals, talk about some Grizzlies storylines from the week. John Morant is making an agent change, plus some predictions for the NBA offseason, which is right around the corner. Stanley Cup final action was again excellent last night. College World Series starts this weekend. Antonio Brown is wanted for attempted murder. We got a lot to get into. We'll end with some Music Friday, some big losses in the music world this week. An interesting new Grammys category is being added. Plus, Sabrina Carpenter's new album cover has everybody talking. It is a Friday. You know what we say. Whitney was right. It's not right, but it's okay. I'm gonna make it anyway. I was also listening to that this morning. Is your child a natural-born entertainer? Now is their chance to join the most talented youth dance crew in the Mid-South, the Blue Bunch. The Blue Bunch entertains Grizz Nation with their energetic dance routines and even have the opportunity to collaborate on performances with leading artists in the entertainment industry. Kids ages 7 to 17 are invited to show off their skills and personality for their chance to join the next generation of NBA entertainers. Open auditions are Saturday, June 28th. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions now for more information.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
With a knockaway.
Good defense.
Morant attacking, spinning, hanging, and hitting.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Javon Evans might be the John Morant of the WWE. You ask me how do I say that? It's because Javon Evans is electrifying. He is viral. He does things you've never seen before. The most athletic guy you've never ever seen in the wrestling world. He reminds me of John in a wrestling ring. So Javon Evans, I'm proclaiming you on this day the John Morant of the WWE.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Feels great to feel the sunshine. Gotta own the day like it's all mine. Just got paid in his own time. Been working hard, I've been on the grind. I deserve this feeling, having my way. I've been on this healing. This is my day. The sun's out, let's have a little fun now. I wanna let it all out. That's what it's all about. Cause I deserve this feeling of having my way. I deserve this healing. This is my day.
Grind City Media presents The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt. Live from the Grind City Media Studios on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Friday the 13th. Ooh. Do you have any feelings on Friday the 13th, CJ? Does it do anything to you?
Well, I didn't until I woke up and found out Israel had bombed Iran, and now I'm terrified.
I'm flying today.
Oh, boy.
I woke up with a little extra anxiety. I'm not going to lie.
Boy, that plane just crashed.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Stuff is happening in this world, and I got to be honest when I say I'm not super fond of it.
You know what? Let's just talk about sports. That's what entertainment, sports. Oh my God, are you okay? Did you just break your finger? It's Friday the 13th. Stuff is happening. And CJ is on the IR and is going to be okay. You okay? You okay? Was it like the shock of the pain?
I'll be all right.
Okay, I'm proud of you. Thank you. You just take a moment. And I'm going to set up today's show.
I don't have feeling in my finger.
Okay, that's problematic. I hope it returns.
That's my good hand.
I wish you the best.
That's my good finger.
As opposed to your bad hand? You mean your dominant hand? Your
No,
right-handed?
I mean good. Why is that what you're doing?
Okay, let's start the show over again. We have a lot. What movie do they say that in?
What?
Keep your open pants strong.
I don't know. I think everybody is saying that.
I know, but there's I'm thinking of a scene in a movie.
Describe the scene.
I can't think of the scene. I can only think of the sound of it.
Do you think of Pootie Tang?
Maybe. I don't think so, though.
Okay.
Anyway, lots of NBA action this weekend. And by lots, I mean we get game 4. But before we get into the NBA of it all and the Grizzlies of it all and the John Morant changing agents of it all, I cannot believe I abandoned the hockey last night and proceeded to miss one of the best games of all time because the Panthers, up 2-1 in the series going into last night's game, they're hosting. They scored fairly early in the first period. I was watching the first period. I even watched the pregame show going into last night's Stanley Cup final game. Score early on a Kachuk goal. Score again a little bit later.
You watched
the whole first period.
And you watched the pre-show.
Yes.
Who's the dude on the desk that looks like Jared Boyd?
I don't know.
I was like, he's got to be kin to JB.
He does look like him.
Every time he came up, I was like, oh, Jared is talking again.
The one dude with the hair flow is aggressive. The pregame show was fantastic. We can get into that because I had a lot of thoughts as it pertained to like how the NBA does the packaging of its finals. Obviously, that's been a hot conversation this postseason. But I think hockey does a really good job of like the glorification, the mythology setting of it all. But alas, the Panthers go up 3-0 in the first period. And I'm like, okay, we're free for the rest of the night. Let's watch. We're watching The Studio right now and watch 2 episodes of The Studio. If you've been watching The Studio, we watched the episode where they cast the Kool-Aid Man movie. And it is such a tremendous episode of television. I think, CJ, you should just watch that episode. You don't have to watch The Studio. It's called The Studio. It's the Seth Rogen show on Apple TV. Do you have Apple TV? No. Damn it, I hate when that happens with you. Every time. Whatever. You should find that episode. You should use my account to watch that episode of The Studio. But we watched those 2, and I didn't even think about checking in on the hockey game before I went to bed. I just got myself nice and cozy, got tucked in, was like, ooh, I'm gonna get a good night's sleep. I'm in bed by 9:20. This will be a good night. And I woke up to a text from Chris, and he was like, you are not going to believe it, but the Oilers came back and won that game last night, which is absurd because the reason I didn't even think about going back to check the game was because it was over. And not just was that game over, it felt like the series was over. It was like, all right, the Panthers are going to win again. We were having conversations, how miserable for a fan base to have to lose to the same team 2 years in a row in the finals. And in this case, after there had been some promise that this could be, a fun series to ultimately go down 3-1, it just felt like the writing was on the wall. And especially in the game last night, there was no way that the Oilers were going to come back after trailing 3-0 in the first period, because the last time a team came back down 3-0 at any period on the road in a Stanley Cup final was over 100 years ago. It was the Montreal Canadiens in 1919. That was a hell of a team, that Montreal Canadiens team. I remember them well. But 100 years since a team had come back down 3-0 on the road. No team had ever come back down 3-0 in the first period. And then you have this Panthers team, and we talked about it after their other game, where the Panthers had entered the Stanley Cup final 31-0 in the playoffs under their coach, Paul Maurice, in the games where they had a lead after the first or the second period. 31-0 under that coach. We saw them suffer their first loss of that kind earlier in the Stanley Cup final, and now last night, they did it again. And so now the Panthers are 33-2 when leading after the first or the second period in the playoffs. But you just cannot count out these Oilers, because I go back and watch through the highlights. They score 3 goals in the second period. They have the go-ahead goal with 13:36 left in the third period. They're holding on to it. And then it was almost absolute disaster and sadness, because this is the end of the third period with 19 seconds left. The Panthers tie it. 19 seconds left in the third period. And so for another time this Stanley Cup final, we are going to overtime. And it goes to overtime, and it is just absolute madness. Like, the opportunities for the Panthers coming up, you will see this shot on goal, which rims around the rosy on the top of the goalpost. They don't get that. And a little bit later, it's who else? Leon Draisaitl, who ends up with the go-ahead goal for the Edmonton Oilers. And it is his 4th overtime goal of the playoffs. His 2nd overtime goal of the Stanley Cup final. The Oilers win, CJ. The hockey is incredible.
This is so much fun to sit down and watch. And
as someone who watches hockey
nothing.
one time period a year in spurts.
Know nothing about this, and it's just good.
Can I tell you my favorite thing from last night?
What?
As we're watching the beginning of the game, Chris goes, well, from my hockey analysis, it feels like if Edmonton wants to win this thing, it's going to have to be a real low-scoring game, like a 1-0 kind of situation if the Oilers are gonna ultimately win this game. 5-4 in overtime.
They are scoring goals.
Yes.
Right? 9 goals this game, 9 goals last game. I think 8 or 9 in game 2 and 9 in game 1. Game 1 and 2 both go to overtime as well. So you've got 4 games where you got 3 overtimes in 4 games, and in all 4 of those games, you've got multiple goals being scored on both sides. It's just incredible to watch. That game changed. There was talk about whether or not, here's my expert hockey analysis, because I definitely know these guys' names. There's a center who plays goalie. There's also a center who skates for the Oilers. So the center who plays goalie was their starting goalie. From everything I've researched and reading up on what's going on with these teams, he was a starting goalie. They pulled him early in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and they put this other guy in at goal. The other guy at goal went 6-0, and then he got injured, and then they put center back in, and then after that, center was playing
Skinner.
well. Is it Skinner?
It's Skinner.
I definitely know these dudes' names.
I got you.
So Skinner then.
The other one's Calvin Picard.
Yes. Why?
Now 7-0.
Well, it's now 7-0. So they put this other guy whose name is apparently Skinner. I thought the K was silent. Forgive me.
Oh, maybe it is.
He's I don't know. He's now in goal, and they've lost. They're down 2-1 in this series, right? You had 2 close games, 2 overtime games, and then the blowout in game 3. And so there was thoughts that, okay, the Oilers should change from Skinner or center, not really sure, to this other goalie.
Mr. Stewart.
But they call him Mr. Game 4.
Yes.
Because he's never lost a game 4. I think he's 4. Before last night, he was 4-0 in game 4s all time. And so now I guess he's 5-0 in game 4s all time as the starting goalie. And it was like, okay, we're going to run this dude out there. And so they send him out there. And listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I was like, I'm not sure how much of this is on the goalie in the first period, because they were giving up all types of power plays in that first period. 3 different power plays in that first period. They had what's it called when 2 dudes go into the penalty box? Because they had one of those types. Is it not a double play? Not a double power play? They should fix the name of that. It should be a double power play. It should be a DPP. They had a DPP in the first period. And that's what. Well, no, that's the DPS.
I know.
So they had 2 dudes off the ice. So obviously the Panthers are going to get a goal in that situation. The Panthers outshot them like 16-4 in the first period. It was like, oh, the Oilers are getting no shots on goal. They're not even looking at the goal. There's nothing they can do. They have no time of possession. Like, this is all about the Panthers, and it's going to end that way. And then the second period happened. They made the goalie switch, and then it started to click for them a little bit. It's amazing how making a change at the goalie can all of a sudden affect you guys like not getting dumbass penalties all the time. Man, it's so much fun to watch.
I love it. Arguably, as an expert, one of the best Stanley Cup final we have ever seen.
It does have a name, Jessica. 2-man advantage.
Okay,
that's what they call it.
advantage.
Okay.
There you go.
I like double penalties.
Yeah, we should rename it.
Double penalty.
As ambassadors of the sport.
Yes.
You should really work on this. They do a really good job. What struck me watching that game, well, one, they know the ultimate broadcast rule, which, proud of them. Every time there's a goal, you have to show Taylor Swift if she's in the building. Every time there's a goal, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce were on that broadcast, which I still do not quite understand why Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce were at the game last night, but apparently they just wanted to go to a good game. Everybody loves the hockey right now. We've had 3 overtime games, and the one game that was a blowout delivered one of the more fun fights of the postseason. So everything has been exactly what you want from your postseason hockey, but Taylor Swift in the building, the ultimate broadcast, just like NFL teams realized, just like NFL broadcast directors realized, just put her on the screen as much as possible. Everybody's talking. Eventually, you'll get a meme. She and Travis looking at their phone. What are they talking about? Some people wondered if it was that tattoo. Did you see the tattoo of Jason Kelce?
No.
I meant to send it. It's something. You should just look it up. It's like a very interesting.
Who's got it?
I don't know.
Just some
fan,
random
some
dude?
super fan who
What a
wanted a
weirdo.
tattoo of Jason Kelce on his body.
Weirdo.
Yeah. It's his art, you know?
Okay.
His body, his choice, as I often say. She was in the building, but TNT, from even the pregame of having like a pre-produced, almost like cinematic video of everything that had happened so far and highlighting these 2 teams and the players with it, like it just felt so dramatic. And I think it just perfectly kind of captured what is missing from the NBA side of things, which is funny because obviously TNT doesn't have the finals, but TNT has had the playoffs. But all of TNT's coverage with the NBA was always locked up with the inside the NBA guys. And we've discussed it ad nauseum. They're a comedy show. They do a tremendous job. They're so entertaining, but it doesn't necessarily like give you the gravitas that the hockey broadcast gave, or that a football game broadcast would give, or I've seen a lot of people bring up like international soccer and how it does, and it treats the product so seriously. But then I was asking myself, if they treated the NBA product that seriously, I think we've reached this point where people would make fun of it. So you're kind of trapped in this catch-20, like damned if you do, damned if you don't.
The NBA is in an odd spot that I don't think anybody else's league is in, where everybody wants to hate on it. Like people who watch it, the fans of the NBA,
the former players,
they're watching it to complain about something. And because this series, to the Pacers' credit and to the Thunder credit, right, this series has been good basketball being played. They've been physical. They've made big shots and big moments, right? There's been good basketball, high-quality basketball played. You can't complain about the dudes on the court. Lang is going to come in here and complain about SGA. But outside of
Did
him,
you know Tyrese Haliburton hasn't taken a single free throw this
if he says that,
NBA Finals?
I'm going to throw myself. But so that complaint aside, there's no real complaint about the basketball being played. And then if there's no complaint about the basketball, we got to find something to complain about, because that's what NBA fans do well. And so the complaint now is, and I think it's rightful to point out, but it shouldn't be one of the first 5 or 6 things you say about this finals. It is fair to point out, hey, it just doesn't feel the same. There aren't the packages that can be put together. Even it's ESPN. They do a tremendous job making the college football bowl season and playoff feel different and feel special. There's not the packages there.
There's not the analysis there.
We don't. The analysis is bad.
The building up of the players. So much time is spent tearing down, and
we don't
not
see.
To bring
they
up,
don't. Jeffrey Ryan was on with him and Kevin Cerrito on Wednesday. He brought up show us the player introductions.
Yes.
Like that.
And that's what NBC is going to do next year, even in the regular season. And I think it's really exciting that NBC has a chance. And I trust NBC. They do the Olympics. They do the NFL broadcast. But what the TNT thing made me realize is just because you share that partner doesn't necessarily mean they're going to nail it. Because that hockey presentation, widely different than the feel that I even got through the NBA postseason. And right now, the issue is with ESPN and ABC. When your most notable voice in Stephen A. Smith is getting in little silly fights with Tyrese Haliburton about perceived grievances and coming and saying essentially I'm bigger than you. Many have tried to come and take me down before, but you won't and nobody has. That's bad. That's just not good for building up the energy and the excitement, and I used the word earlier, the mythology of the sport. These players in these games are supposed to be bigger than all of us, right? I can't go play an NBA game. You would try, can't go play an NBA game. They are bigger than us. They are gods among men who play these sports at this incredible level. That's what we do in other sports. And I saw somebody on TikTok brought up, one of the reasons it works on the NFL side is because you put the mask on. Right? There's this separation between the man and then what they are in the arena, and you put the mask on and the pads on. But the sport that doesn't do that, soccer, international soccer, the real football, and the way they do it is through the broadcast. It's through these really dramatic soliloquies and monologues about these players. And I swear, all I could do was try to imagine one of the NBA broadcasters doing something like that. And I can't. And if they did, everyone would make fun of it. I'm this person's blazing so hard right now.
They don't have anybody whose analysis is respected enough to do that. They don't. Ernie could. Ernie Johnson could.
Ernie could.
Ernie absolutely could sit down or stand up in front of a screen and be like, hey, give me 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes, and let me tell you why this moment is special. I don't think anybody else could. Windhurst. I'm grasping here.
I don't know if Breen could do it because I've never heard him try.
Breen, maybe.
Harlan.
Harlan could do it.
I don't know.
Harlan.
People make
old
fun
Harlan.
of him.
Old Harlan can do it. The older one could absolutely do it. I think
Eagles, either of them, maybe. Again, I don't know because we haven't heard it done.
Could. I'm not sure if Noah could, but yeah, we can throw them in there. But Point is, those aren't the faces of the discourse around the NBA.
But it would also be such a jarring pivot from, well, I don't know, is Tyrese Halliburton a superstar? Versus trying to be like, and there he is, once again, on the brink of a triple-double, just one rebound shy, leading this Pacers team with the fans in Indiana saying in 49 other states, it's just basketball, but Tyrese Halliburton. Like, if someone started saying that, you'd be like, oh my God, who's this joker? This is so weird. This doesn't fit. I feel like we have to, like, lobotomatize. Is that a word?
Yes.
Lobotomize? I think it's lobotomize. NBA fans and start over. But we can't do that.
You should do it. You should do game... Well,
dramatic
it's too late
game
for this
recaps.
one. You should
We'll
do
work
game,
on it next
You should
year.
do game 5.
Are you adding things to my plate?
I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Are you making a woman work more?
I didn't know your summer was so busy.
We gotta go do Pilates on Tuesday, okay? We have a very busy summer indeed. We gotta take a break. Lang Whitaker's gonna join us on the other side. We'll talk to him about the NBA Finals, the news that Ja Morant is no longer a client of Mike Miller, what it means for Ja to be potentially switching agents at that time. Plus, we'll get his take on the Zach Edey injury and recovery. All that and more when we come back.
What should the Grizzlies take away from this Western Conference Finals matchup?
The Grizzlies need more quality depth. Not just depth, quality depth.
Well, what the Memphis Grizzlies can learn and take away from the Western Conference Finals is you can't talk about it, you got to be about it.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to GrizzBeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Creed. By overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 tour returns. July 27th, FedEx Forum. With very special guest, Daughtry. And Mammoth. Tickets on sale now at LiveNation.com. Don't miss Creed with Daughtry and Mammoth. The Summer of '99 tour.
The First Ladies of FedEx Forum, the Grizz Girls, are known across the NBA for setting the standard for professional dance and entertainment, and they are looking for dancers to join their team for the 2025-2026 season. With the chance to gain professional dance experience and connect with the Memphis community, auditioning for the Grizz Girls is an opportunity you do not want to miss. Come show up at Open Call Auditions Saturday, July 26th at the Memphis Sports and Events Center. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions now for more information.
1, 2, 3. Ready, go.
Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at LiveNation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit Shinedown.com.
CP the franchise. Do we hate the Pacers?
Of course. I hate Halliburton. I hate Reggie. I hate the Pacers. I hope.
Yeah, where does Halliburton rank?
Where's
he ranked?
Yeah, is there potential for him to be more hated than Reggie by the end of this series?
If you start flipping y'all off, for sure.
Yes. Well, first of all, they're built the same. They damn near look the same. You know what I mean? He's like reincarnated Reggie Miller.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
How about Mr. Irrelevant coming from the Memphis Tigers? Yeah, how about that? New England Patriots
Second
took
time.
Memphis defensive back Kobe Minor with the 257th overall pick.
If you're the player getting drafted at that spot, it's almost better to go undrafted and pick a place as an undrafted free agent to sign with where you have a better chance.
But you get a lot of stuff. You get a parade. I think you go to Disneyland, I believe.
Mr. Irrelevant goes to Disney?
I think so.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. back. It is Friday. That means it's time to catch up with Lang Whitaker in studio now.
We're here.
Happy
Let's go.
Friday,
Yeah,
Lang.
happy Friday.
Hey, it's the NBA Finals, but we have Grizzlies storylines.
We do?
A couple.
What happened?
Well, Chandler Parsons went back on the Run It Back podcast. Can we get a petition started in this city to not have any current, former, or future Grizzlies players ever go talk to Chandler Parsons on a broadcast ever again?
I'm fine with that.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Because every single time some nonsense pops off. No, but between the Zach Edey injury from last weekend, he had surgery this week, and then the news yesterday, we'll start with John Morant and DeMichael Cole officially reporting that John Morant has left Mike Miller's agency, and Mike Miller had been serving as his agent since last April. This was his second agent of his NBA career. He had been with Tandem prior to April 2024, goes over to Lyft with Mike Miller, and now is no longer with Lyft. And this first, I think, started getting on the radar. Mike Miller was on some show talking about his various clients, and he didn't mention John Morant. And I remember the internet picked up on it, and it's like, ooh, what does this mean? Now he's not listed as one of those clients anymore, and so it would appear that the separation is real. Does this mean anything to you? You've been around the sport for a long time. You've seen a lot of players change agents, and I know that there is obviously the familiarity and the connection of Mike Miller and the connection with the Grizzlies, but even in DeMichael's reporting, the relationship between Ja and the Grizzlies is as it has been, which is strong, and this doesn't have any real showing of any sort of fracture there.
I dealt with lots of agents when I worked at Slam because we would just a lot of times just go through the agents to get guys. I mean, guys change agents all the time. One of the first things that comes to mind is LeBron changed agents several times, like the first few years of his career. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, agents really only make their money when you sign a new contract, you know? Like, that's when your agent gets a whatever percent is. It's capped by the player association at like 3% or something. But that's when the agent makes his big money. So once you sign the contract, what's your agent doing? Unless they have like a full marketing staff to help you do all the other stuff.
Right.
So I mean, Ja's sort of in between contracts at the moment, and I don't think really having an agent, not having an agent matters. Tandem, actually, interestingly, is Jim Tanner was the guy who runs Tandem. He was the guy originally, many years ago. Tim Duncan fired his agent when he was on the Spurs and didn't have an agent. And he hired a lawyer just to read the contracts, and you pay him by the hour instead of paying them a portion of your contract.
Yeah.
Because he figured it was cheaper, Tim Duncan being a genius. And the lawyer he hired to read all the contracts was Jim Tanner, who then goes on and starts an agency and gets out of the business of getting paid by the hour to get a percentage. So, I don't know. I don't think it really matters that much.
It's what a lot of people in local TV news used to do because you're not making, obviously, there's a massive difference in a contract number between being a reporter in, I don't know, Denver or Colorado versus being an NBA player. But in order to not have to ultimately give a percentage of every paycheck, there was one guy who everybody went to the same guy who was this contract lawyer who would negotiate on your behalf. But then other people choose. It's really a personal choice. I remember when I was trying to figure out if I wanted an agent, I just wanted to take the responsibility of negotiation out of my hands. I don't view myself as a particularly strong negotiator. I one time folded immediately in a contract talk where I was trying to play hardball and the person came back and I said, you know what? I was just putting the idea out in the atmosphere. That's literally what I said. And I said, I'm going to find an agent and I'm never going to keep myself from getting potentially more money in the future. I've had multiple agents. Sometimes they all end on, mine have all ended on good terms. It's just a matter of looking for something that works for your specific point in time. And I think it'll be interesting with Ja, because I see a lot of people immediately go, oh, the clutch era is coming, or the CAA era is coming, or the self-representation era. We're witnessing right now, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is in that position. I think, is Embiid in that place too? There's a couple players littered throughout both the NBA, the NFL, who are representing themselves or someone on their team similar to what you were bringing up.
Like Ja has a big team around him of people, so maybe somebody does that. I've had several agents also, and I actually still have a literary agent for book stuff, but the same reason, I don't want to negotiate that stuff. When the first book deal I got, they offered it to my agent, and she called and she was like, hey, this was the offer. I said no. And I was like, why'd you say no? It's going to go away. But I ended up getting a better deal out of it because agents, that's what they do.
No better than you. That's their specialty.
That's their job. My job is to do the other stuff. And Ja's job is to play the basketball, and someone else can handle that stuff.
And of course, it's Ja. So when something like this happens, that's just the natural tendency of, ooh, what does this mean? Oh, is this some bigger piece of a larger story around
Yeah.
him and off-season moves and whatever. And there's no connectivity. I'm not saying that nothing could happen in the future on the other side, but there's nothing really to overly
Also,
read
these days,
into.
like agents don't really have the sway they had 20 years ago, 30 years ago, even 10 years ago. Because the way the CBA is set up now and players getting percentages and the second apron and all this stuff, like it's harder. It's a lot harder for an agent to have a voice in all this. I mean, look, the Lakers, Anthony Davis is a clutch client, so is LeBron James, and they traded Anthony Davis in the middle of the night. And you can't have anything to do with it. So,
Exactly.
agents don't really have, I think, at least in basketball, as much as they do in like football or baseball anymore. They don't have the same pull.
The biggest story of the week, literally, and as it pertains to next season, Zach Edey had ankle surgery.
Yep.
According to the press release, he will be reevaluated in 4 months. And it just stinks to be in the middle of the NBA finals. You're not even in the off season yet. And we're already sitting here on June 13th having to have conversations on, okay, if Zach Edey is not available for portions of the beginning of next season, what does that mean for the Grizzlies? What kind of steps do they need to take this off season to mitigate being without him? Where do you stand on that?
Well, first of all, it stinks, sure, but like, man, it would stink more if we were having this conversation in November.
Sure.
when the
4-month reevaluation period.
Like when the Steven Adams thing happened, when he came to training camp and all of a sudden he can't play, and then you're stuck trying to find somebody.
Yeah.
At least now you've got 3 months to address it, to figure out how you're gonna, either bring someone in or what you're gonna do. Figure out how healthy Brandon Clark's gonna be at the start of the season. What can Jay Huff give you, and then what else do you need from that center position? So at least now you have time to figure this out. And also, like, look, 4 months from now is what, September, October? Like, it's right at the start of the season. Maybe he's back by then.
Right. I think from a Grizzlies fan perspective,
we're all gonna.
No one trends on the maybe he's back by then. Everybody goes to the
glass is half empty.
Okay, so what's the next update? 2 months later is another evaluation.
Yeah, because we've been there.
Yes.
We all have PTSD from all these other injuries.
It's kind of that idea of like when you have anxiety and then there are things that validate that anxiety, and then once that happens once, twice, 3 times, you're like, well, I certainly have an absolute right to feel as if this is going to be worse than the original presented opportunity.
Yeah, and like that's why we have the PTSD, because it's several times we've seen things happen and the worst the worst outcome has happened. So but I tend to think, like, look, like 4 months, this is really the best case scenario. If he's going to get injured, for it to happen right now is the best time for that to happen, and to have this long time to get back and get ready and all that stuff is great.
For you, does this change the biggest priority of the offseason for the Grizzlies?
No, I mean, I don't. To me, the biggest priority in this offseason was figure out the Jaren contract thing, and then I'm interested to see what happens these next 3 weeks in the NBA, because there's been all this talk about how like a lot of teams are going to like kind of try to flip everything.
I likened it to the old seasons of The Bachelor with Chris Harrison, when his go-to line was, "This is going to be the most dramatic season." Every season was going to be the most dramatic season, and I do think we tend to get that kind of phrasing around NBA off seasons. But there does feel to be a different surge, and you throw in the new CBA and how that's impacting a team like the Celtics, who find themselves in a position where, they won a title 2 years ago now, or last year, not even 2 years ago, last year, and now they can't afford it and have to potentially blow it all up. So I do think it has the potential to be the most dramatic offseason.
I think so. And so I think the Grizzlies over in that building, they're having discussions that we don't know about, but probably one discussion is, this is our core right now. Is this our core we're going to keep going with, or are we going to flip things up? But I think really if you're an NBA team in the summer, like, this is your chance to be opportunistic. Maybe you get to jump in some of these deals as a third team to help facilitate moves, that kind of thing. Grizzlies have a lot of younger guys on very nice contracts that you could throw into a deal or things like that. Grizzlies, I think we have all our draft picks the next 5 years, something like that. So you have a lot of things you can do stuff with. It's really going to be what the decision's going to be longer term. New coaches coming in, what's the system going to be? What is he looking for? And how does this all fit together?
And I do think that's one of the additional frustrations of the Edey injury, because, like you said, obviously a worst case scenario is this happens right before training camp and then it extends that timeline. But the idea of you do have a new system. And I know the system has been there with him as an assistant and was heavily involved in the offense that we saw from the Grizzlies last year. But now this is his team. And to have a full offseason, to have a full training camp when you are fully going all in on a new head coach and a first-time head coach in the NBA as well, it was just all the more critical, which is why I'm curious if they do go out and find another big who also could serve as a backup big, because what if there's a scenario in an important game in the postseason where Zach Edey's in foul trouble?
Even if you go get a backup big, you're still asking the guy to start for however long, and you got a backup big. You got Jay Huff, you got Brandon Clark, your backup big. So you have guys who can do that.
Don't you think you want a little bit of Brandon Clark, sure. But then you also have the element of Brandon Clark, who is supposed to be good coming off of his knee injury to start the season. It just feels like a very fragile, a tenuous situation in the Grizzlies front court.
Yeah, I mean, there's a Twitter account, I can't remember the name of it, Grizz Playbook or something like that, where there's a guy who goes through and breaks down the Grizzlies offense, defense, X and O stuff. And he did a deep dive this week about Tuomas Isalo's offense when he took over. And he's, it's a very small sample size. But the pick and roll usage was through the roof compared to the first 8 months or whatever it had been, 6 months of the season. And that's the part that with Zach Edey, you're like, oh man, like that's where he's so awesome, is in that pick and roll and setting those giant screens for Ja Morant. So I think that's the part that is probably not concerning, but the part you're looking at like, man, like this is that sucks. Like if we had a healthy Zach Edey right now, that would be perfect to figure that out.
You mentioned some of the bigger deals that could be happening. Kevin Durant's name once again.
All the time.
We're back on a Kevin Durant offseason. The Giannis stuff is significantly cooled. No matter how much NBA talking heads and NBA teams want to make a Giannis trade a thing, it appears that Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks are like, stop trying to make a Giannis trade a thing. There's, pretty heavy reporting at this point that he hasn't asked for a trade, and if Giannis isn't forcing a trade, the Bucks certainly aren't looking at a trade for Giannis. And so everything shifts to the other big name of the offseason, which is Kevin Durant, and it feels like everybody is kicking the tires. And we know that the Grizzlies have kicked the tires on Kevin Durant in the past. Do you think it's more a matter at this point for the Grizzlies, because everybody is interested in Kevin Durant, of being that third team, like you mentioned, of perhaps getting in the trade on the fringes, not with the big move itself?
I think the question there is, what are the Suns getting back, right? Like, are they do they want Desmond Bane? Or do they think they can get a guy from the Spurs, a Stephon Castle or somebody, or the number 2 pick? Can they get a Dylan Harper from that? It's really going to be like whatever it is that the Spurs want out of this deal. I mean, the Suns want out of this deal. And if you're the Grizzlies, then it's a value proposition, right? Like, is this something we're willing to do for that? But I do think for the Grizzlies, if you decide that, this Ja, Bane, Jaren's our big three, this is what we're sticking with, then you say, all right, well, how do we augment that? And maybe you look around the edges and try to go get a Derek White from a Celtics team that's trying to, sell at this moment. Or I also think like two of the teams I'm curious about this offseason are the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. Because the Timberwolves have always been really aggressive with making moves and stuff. Mike Conley's not getting any younger. They're going to have to figure out something in their backcourt. And Nickeil Alexander-Walker's probably out, and he was a big part for them. And then Denver, they have such a good big two, and then everything else you saw in the playoffs, that lack of depth killed them. And Jokic came out and talked about we need more depth, so they're going to have to do. And they made their coaching
change and ownership change, so that you can anticipate there to be.
The Knicks might do something too. I don't know. They don't have a lot of flexibility.
Again, it feels like every day I see another team. The Heat, and my God, well, did you see the video of Tyler Hero?
Yes, yeah. He looks like a bad guy in Grand Theft Auto to begin with, but I saw
my favorite part of the whole thing is he said, for people who don't know, he's on some stream
I think
of
it's
some
Aiden
kind,
Ross. Yeah.
and he said that he doesn't believe in history before 1950. Anything that happened pre-1950, he doesn't believe it. And they asked him about the moon landing, and he's like, "Yeah, no, not that. The moon landing happened after 1950 for one, and two. Why am I spacing on his name?" Anyway, whatever. It was a ridiculous video for Tyler Hero.
He's like that. Kyrie famously thinks the earth is flat and all this stuff. Why are all these guys streaming? Can we get the people who don't understand the history off the streams?
Okay, or the flip side of it, just don't give it attention.
Yeah.
It was everywhere over the. I know we are, so but that's what we do.
Guilty of it. I get it.
When you're talking about it's the off season and everything happens, and they're like, "Oh, the Heat might blow up," and I'm like, "Well, did Tyler Hero's value change at all because he doesn't believe in history before 1950? Probably not."
No, he probably never has. I wonder if he believes in the NBA before 1950.
That's a good question.
So you think
those are fake highlights?
Yeah, like Bob
Cousy's not real.
I don't know.
That MFer's not real.
Bob Pettit. Yeah.
It is a funny little thing. But no, I'm excited for off-season talk. It's always one of the most exciting things.
The other thing is to think about is like Gary Parrish and I are doing this video draft board breakdown for presented by Southland Casino for Grind City Media. And so Gary and I have been going through all the different draft possibilities and players. There's a bunch of teams with like 3 picks in the first round this year. The Nets have a bunch of picks. Who are the other ones? The Thunder have a bunch of picks. There's a bunch of teams with several first-round picks. And so if you're one of those teams, like if you're the Thunder, do you need 3 new guys?
Right.
Like why don't we package this for something else? So I think there's opportunity for other teams to kind of get in here and maybe, add 2 or 3 players. Like the Nets have a couple of picks. And if you're the Nets, yeah, you might need 2 or 3 guys.
I've thought about this a few times. Like, what would be the most shocking thing to happen? If it really is the most dramatic thing you've ever seen, I almost feel it would be the Thunder making a big deal after being in the NBA Finals, whether winning it or...
I said at the end of the season, like, if why don't they go trade for Giannis?
Yeah.
I mean, I get it.
Well, now Giannis doesn't want to go anywhere.
So, I mean, the Bucks are going to have to do something too.
Yeah.
I mean, but if you're the Thunder, we'll give you Jalen Williams and 7 first-round picks, which doesn't make a dent in their war chest of first-round picks, really. And people are like, well, that kind of goes against the Thunder's ethos. So, yeah, well, so what? Like, you got a chance to go get a former MVP, a guy who's won titles. Like, why wouldn't you go get Giannis and put him with SGA out there and build a? I mean, and now it looks like the Thunder, they're down in the series. Like, maybe they need to do something like that.
So speaking of
How
the
about
Thunder
that?
being
The ethical
down
Hoopers are
2-1
back.
to the Pacers, we know you love the ethical
That's
Hoopers.
right, the ethical Hoopers.
Does it feel like a must-win for OKC tonight?
Oh, yeah. I think it is. You don't want to go down 3-1 heading back,
Having to win 3 games in a row against
having to
this
win 3 in a
Pacers
row,
team and one
2
of
at
them in
home.
Indiana.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. And so if I'm the Thunder, like, I think they're probably a little nervous at this point. Like, this is not. I saw somebody ask this morning on social media. They were like, if the Thunder end up losing this thing, does this go down in like history as one of the big disappointments in the NBA, considering they won 68 games in the regular season and were so dominant and all this stuff? I kind of feel like maybe not, just because they're so young,
Right. It's like, what would the lead framing be? Would the lead framing be the Pacers are the biggest surprise of a champion that we've had since?
Or is it the biggest disappointment?
Or the biggest disappointment?
I don't know. Maybe it's some of both. I had a stat I mentioned yesterday on the Odds Couple, another great Grind City Media subsidiary. Free throw attempts in this finals so far, the Thunder have attempted, I think, was 89. The Pacers have attempted 20 less through the first 3 games. But Shea, SGFTA, leads the whole thing in free throw attempts with, I think, 27. Tyrese Halliburton, 0 free throws.
CJ, drink. Take a shot.
Because he's not going to the rim, Lang. That's such a goofy stat to bring up. That is not ethical.
That's
He's afraid of the paint.
TJ McConnell had a different style.
What are we talking about? Good grief. Such a bad take about basketball being played. SGA being a foul, whatever, merchant, whatever the hell y'all are calling
foul merchant.
How about you get on the defenders for fouling him? It's a foul when you reach in. If you reach your arm in and keep your arm there and he goes up, guess what? It's a foul. It's a foul if he's doing it. It's a foul if we're playing pickup and we're doing it. It's always a foul. Why are you mad at the person getting fouled and not at the person playing bad defense? I'll never understand this.
It's a lot of yelling, trying to hide the fact that we got a foul merchant who won the MVP.
Before I let you go, I did want to ask this question because you talk about Grind City Media subsidiaries, and one of them is your Grind City Media newsletter that teaches me something new every week. And
how about that?
This one was that the Washington Post recently reported that some toilets contain fewer germs than the average human beard. You have a beard. CJ has a beard.
No, I don't have a beard. I have like scruff. Like a beard.
Okay.
To me, a beard's like Duck Dynasty.
Well, okay. I think the scruff has to be cleaned too. How many times a week are you cleaning your beard?
I mean, I take a shower
every day.
But do you specifically clean your beard?
Every day.
And
I mean, I wash my face.
Okay.
I got
getting
special
soap in there.
I got
You
special
stuff.
like for black people beard to make it soft.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. I think they're talking about like lumberjack, Duck Dynasty, the long beards.
I think all beards matter.
Okay, but I think specifically in terms of cleanliness.
Okay.
Like, I mean, if you have a beard like this, I don't even have a beard. I just have whiskers. But if it's like this,
You have more than whiskers.
Not really.
All right.
But when I couldn't. What's the like demarcation point? Can you like braid it? That makes it a beard?
No. If you just like CJ has a beard.
I shaved it. You didn't even compliment me. But
I'm so sorry. I'm now realizing it's very
your
well
beard
shaped.
used to be a lot longer.
Yeah, it used to be long. And even when it was longer, like I've got like beard stuff. We've had many conversations about this in the other room where it softens the beard. So I put in a little conditioner and then I let it sit for a little bit. Then I wash it out and then I go and I put my beard oils
What conversations
in there.
do we have about this in the other room?
Well, Lane, you're not always over there.
I know. I'm just like,
we're talking about
We're talking about how SGA is not as much of a free throw merchant as he gets accused of being. And beards are
the man who leads the finals
scruffy.
in free throws is not as much of a free throw merchant as he's accused of being.
Because people are fouling him, Lang. I don't know what you want to.
Have you seen
him
like?
to
Did
do.
you see the clip of him the other day when Siakam puts his hand out? I think it was Siakam. And SGA clamps his hand with the left arm.
But why is his hand
His
there?
hand
Because he's just
shouldn't
trying
be
to balance
there.
himself.
His hand, you can't hand check, Lang. That's a foul.
He's not touching him.
Okay, he's not
He's got his
touching
hand
him?
just out in front of his body.
Okay.
And
Is
he
his
clamps
body
his
going
hand,
that way?
flies
If he's
back,
not Lang, if he's not
gets free
touching Lang,
throws.
if he's not touching him, how is he able to clamp
My
onto his
favorite
arm?
part of the finals
what are you
is
talking
when
about?
my favorite part of these games is when SGA drives, sees the contact coming, and just flies out of bounds, and they don't call it.
Yeah, because those aren't fouls.
I know, but they've been calling them all season.
They hadn't been
They've
late
been
when he's
calling
been
it all
getting
year.
because he's been getting fouled all
Free throw
season.
merchant.
It's not
The
his fault. He
merchant of
goes to the
Oklahoma
basket
City.
hard, and
As
people
somebody
are
who at
fouling
times
him.
throughout the regular season and early playoffs fell into the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is an unethical hooper conversation, one of my biggest takeaways from this finals has been how damn good Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been.
Oh, he's an amazing,
and honestly, coming out of last game,
especially like mid-range player. He's an incredible
Yes.
mid-range player. But you don't need to flop around and do all the other crap, man. Like just play your game. If he played his game, it'd be
the
fine.
intelligence factor of it too. If he's going to get the call, go for the call. That's part of this.
That's unethical.
Well,
you celebrate it.
Taking
You and CJ
advantage
embrace
of
the unethical.
situation. I embrace a player who is smart enough to play within the constraints of the game that is being officiated in front of him, and he has to adapt when he doesn't get the calls.
And
just
that's happening
the
now,
game.
and they're down 2-1.
Does it bother you as much when Jalen Brunson does it?
Yes. Yeah, I don't.
You're
I don't like
consistent.
Jalen Brunson either.
Okay. You're consistent
Because
with
for
it.
the exact same reason, like play the game, man. Hey, you know what really bothers me about it is like those guys get the calls and Ja doesn't.
Ja's not strong enough. Get in the weight room, get stronger, go up, and stop letting
I bet
wind
he's stronger
blow
than
you
Jalen
around.
Brunson, who's like 5'7".
No, Ja might be
Jalen Brunson
taller.
is- yeah.
Jalen is thicker and stronger than Ja Morant.
I felt
Ja's
uncomfortable calling him thicker, so thank you,
You're
CJ.
welcome.
I'd like to see them have
I
an arm
noticed thick
wrestling. I
men.
bet Ja's got like wiry strength. I bet he would beat Jalen Brunson in an arm
No,
wrestling.
Ja doesn't have any
But
strength.
even if you
Ja's
have
getting
wiry
pushed
strength,
around
how that
constantly
strength
out
No,
is
there.
Ja's
perceived
bigger.
by
You remember he
officials is a
used to like
different
his
story.
arm sleeve used to fall down all the time, and he was always pulling it up. Like he was so thin that now he doesn't have that anymore. He's gotten bigger. He's gotten some size.
Breaking news.
What's up?
NBA player with NBA level training facilities and training
Yeah.
programs got stronger over time.
You guys don't believe it. I'm trying to tell
I
you.
believe it.
Like, I don't
I
know.
don't believe that piece of it. Like he's not. Jalen Brunson is just built differently than Ja. Ja is going to be perceived also from the way his body looks in taking contact.
Yeah. I mean, Shai's sort of built the same way as Ja. He's just bigger. He's 6'6", but he's real skinny. You know what I mean? Like
It's a
he's
massive
not.
height difference.
I'm just saying he's built. He has a similar build as Ja. The one thing with Shai that I keep hearing people say is that his shoulders are so big, like you don't really notice until you take it. If
Yeah.
you really consider it. He has a really wide shoulders, and that's why like he's able to take those hits, flop, and get the shots up and that kind of stuff because he sees people coming, he bangs into them and takes a shot.
It's all in the shoulders.
Unethical.
Lang, thank you for this ethical appearance. As
All right.
always,
I'm
we
the
appreciate
I'm
you.
the ethicist of Grind City Media.
I hope you have a great weekend.
Hoops ethicist.
We are going to take a break. We're coming back. We'll talk about Jell-O shots. Murray State with an early, really, really good showing in the Jell-O shot competition at the College World Series in Omaha this weekend.
Not going to beat LSU.
Nobody can beat LSU.
No.
They're
The
built
goats.
different in the Jell-O shot consumption game. We'll talk about the College World Series. We'll also talk about Antonio Brown, who is wanted for attempted murder. All that and more when we come back.
Have you always dreamed of entertaining on the biggest stage in Memphis? The Claw Crew is looking for members to join their team for the 2025-2026 season. Claw Crew members are hardworking, high-energy entertainers who assist Grizzlies home games by hyping up the crowd and much more. Not only do they support the Grizzlies on home games, but also promote in Memphis and across the Mid-South. Open auditions are Saturday, August 9th at FedEx Forum. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions for more information and to register today. The Grizzlies, Grannies, and Grandpas have the right moves and are currently looking for new members to join their team for the upcoming season. These soulful seniors are a fan favorite group throughout Grizz Nation. You do not have to be a grandparent, but you must be at least 50 years old with personality, rhythm, and passion for performing. If that sounds like you, then we want to see you on Sunday, June 29th. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions for more information.
Bain drives.
Oh yeah.
Close. He hits and the Grizzlies have the lead.
Yeah!
Jared with a knockaway.
Good defense.
Morant attacking, spinning, hanging, and hitting.
Let's go.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals takes it straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
CP the franchise. Do we hate the Pacers?
Of course. I hate Halliburton. I hate Reggie. I hate the Pacers. I hope.
Yeah, where does Halliburton rank?
Where
does he rank?
Yeah, is there potential for him to be more hated than Reggie by the end of this series?
If you start flipping y'all off, for sure.
Yes. Well, first of all, they're built the same. They damn near look the same. You know what I mean? He's like reincarnated Reggie Miller.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Jalen Wells is in studio right now. You took on tough, if not the toughest defensive assignment. When did you realize that would be your role?
And that's what I was working towards since training camp. I was trying to guard Dez. I was trying to guard Ja whenever I could, even if they're blowing by me, overpowering me. I really didn't care, because I was a rookie. So it's like, that's what's going to happen to a rookie.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Last week, I gave you the update about my son Kevin in terms of having to choose.
Has he made the decision?
He picked Tennessee State.
Oh, my heart, Mike.
The next day, we got an email from the director of Tuskegee's program laying out everything that they were going to be doing. And he flip-flopped.
There we go.
He flip-flopped. So he's going to be going down to Tuskegee.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Can we get that graphic up there? Yes, sir. Hey. Tomorrow, Saturday 14th, here in Memphis, is the Heal the Hood basketball tournament all-star celebrity basketball game set to ignite with star power, civic pride, and community spirit as the Heal the Hood Foundation of Memphis hosts its annual all-star celebrity basketball game featuring another exciting showdown between City of Memphis Mayor Paul Young and Shelby County Mayor Lee Harris. People of all ages are invited to attend this epic mayoral face-off for a great cause. The charity basketball game will take place at Southwind High School, 7900 East Shelby Drive. Doors open at 2. Pre-game show 2:30. Game will begin at 3 p.m. Go out, support. It's always a great cause. You can get the details at hthmemphis.org.
I do believe Craig Hodges is going to be around also. And anytime you can talk to him, you should listen. That's somebody with so much wonderful insight and a tremendous life story to tell and a good understanding about the state of the world right now.
Hard pivot to someone who doesn't always have a great story to tell, although there always seems to be a story. I I can't say I was absolutely shocked when I got this notification from ESPN last night, but it did take me by surprise. Antonio Brown is wanted for attempted murder. That is a real headline. That is a real story right now, and that is a real situation for Antonio Brown. This comes from an incident a month ago that resulted in his detainment at the time, but no charges were filed at that time. Now, Miami-Dade police want to arrest him. There was a celebrity boxing match in Miami. Altercation happens between Brown and another man. He originally claimed that he was jumped in this situation and that he gave that story to the police, and that is why they ultimately let him go after originally detaining him. But now, police reportedly have video footage of Brown punching the man that he was in the altercation with, taking a security officer's gun, running towards the man he had punched, and the video shows that the gun went off. Now, it's attempted murder because the victim says he was possibly grazed in the neck. I don't know how you're possibly grazed in the neck. Does that make sense to you?
I feel like I'd know if I got shot.
But yeah, that's just, I don't want to assume, because when you assume, you make an ass out of you.
Never
and me.
been shot, but I'd
knock
assume.
on wood, fingers crossed.
I'd know.
When, like, if there was, like, pieces out of my neck, like even a graze would draw blood. But anyway, that's what it says. Possibly grazed in the neck. And so now there is a warrant for Antonio Brown's arrest. We have not yet seen the CT-ESPN's reporting on this one. As of the time of this show on Friday morning, there hadn't been an update on this. Attempted murder is bad. I did go down the Antonio Brown, all the things that have happened throughout his career rabbit hole. Remember when he dyed his mustache blonde?
Yeah.
That was a wild time.
That's where you go.
Yep.
Immediately there.
Yep.
Not the rape or the sexual assault.
That's too serious.
Oh, okay.
I go to when he froze his feet.
Not to. Oh, I forgot about that. What a time. Not to when police showed up at his door and there was like some gun waving stuff maybe going on, or he maybe was outside the mother of his children's home acting
Yeah, that
real
happened.
erratic.
He threw some furniture out a window, almost hit people. He also killed an aquarium full of piranhas.
I missed that story entirely.
Were you there for the story when a doctor sued him because he owed him a lot of money, but part of the story was that he kept farting in the doctor's face during the appointment?
I remember that.
I forgot about that.
I remember that one.
That was pre-COVID.
Remember when he had
and I
everybody doing
completely
this
forgot.
little dumbass dance?
Yes.
Everybody was dancing like somebody with very clear mental problems.
Remember
very
when he was
clear
so
CTE?
mad that Juju won team MVP and like went on a whole social media crusade against him?
Yeah, I remember that. Oh, the bag.
Yeah, I remember the bag.
Oh,
remember when he
turn
showed up to camp in a hot air balloon?
Yeah. I need fun.
Remember when Tom Brady tried to save his life,
need
aka get him so that he could win one more?
Didn't he say he had relations with Giselle also?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a thing.
Yeah, the arena team.
Yeah, the arena team.
Yeah, the best arena team with the MVP and the coach of the year folded under Antonio Brown because he wouldn't pay people. He bought this team and couldn't afford to pay the players.
Remember when he tweeted, "No more white women 2020"?
And then immediately found white women, didn't he?
I don't know.
Hasn't he been exclusively white women
I don't
since
think
2020?
so now.
I think so.
Oh, I don't know.
I think so. I think he's only been with, and listen, as the most right person on this show, I love white women. White women do great things.
Sometimes.
Well,
you have to watch that episode that I told you about the studio. The whole crux of it, can I sell it to you? The whole crux is they're making a Kool-Aid movie.
All right.
So it's about the Kool-Aid man.
Okay.
And like the Kool-Aid man is a married man and he has a kid and there's something that pops off. He has a daughter and essentially doesn't believe that the daughter can help save the world, and then the daughter proves him wrong. Like, so it's like a woke Kool-Aid movie to a degree.
Okay.
Who do you think they were going to cast as the Kool-Aid man?
As the Kool-Aid man?
Yes.
Terry Crews.
No.
Who?
I think it'd be so funny if you guessed it. Ice Cube.
Oh.
But then the whole thing pops off where they look at the casting board, they're like ready to go with casting, and then it's like all white executives who then convince themselves that they're making a racist movie by casting Ice Cube as Kool-Aid in the Kool-Aid movie.
Yes, they are.
And at one point, the reason this got brought back from that AB comment, at one point, one of the lines is like, one of the younger girls turns to one of the execs and she's like, "You are a white woman." And the woman goes, "How dare you?" It's Catherine Hahn, and she's so funny. The whole thing is so funny. It was so good. I just highly recommend this beautiful little show.
My second guess was
Who?
Dr. Umar.
Well, that's too deep cut. that's too meta. That's way too meta. I'm trying to think. Who do you think they cast as his wife?
As Kool-Aid Man's wife?
Yeah.
Jennifer Hudson.
No.
Who?
Well, originally it was Sandra Oh, but then they do some research and they talk to Z-Way. I'm now just giving you away the entire plot of this episode because you don't have Apple TV. And they're like, well, I don't think it's racist as long as he's married to a black woman. And they're like, oh no. They have to go back to the drawing board. Who did they end up getting? I don't remember.
Okay.
It was a great episode of television. Anyway, Antonio Brown. It's just... Weren't we just talking about if Antonio Brown was going to be a Hall of Famer?
Were we?
I thought we were.
Okay.
On the show.
I don't think so.
Maybe
I don't think on the show.
Maybe it was with Roser.
Maybe.
I think it was with Roser.
Nah.
That's why.
That seems like Roser's homeboy.
Are you going to watch any of the College World Series?
Probably not.
None?
Probably not.
Are you going to keep track of the Rocco's Jell-O Shot Challenge?
Probably because of this show.
Well, it's an honor to have you be involved in the Rocco's Jell-O Shot Challenge. Every year, Rocco's Bar in Omaha keeps track of all the fans of the teams at the College World Series and who is consuming the most Jell-O shots for a cool $5. LSU always dominates this competition, and they are in the leaderboard as of this morning, 525. Murray State, though, a really positive showing in year one of their first ever appearance at the College World Series. They're right in there. You want to know who absolutely is abysmal? UCLA. Of course they are. Of course UCLA is at the bottom. Because they're not fun. Who are they? I don't know. They're not fun with it. UCLA losing. I did see this graphic on the budgets of the baseball programs represented in this year's College World Series and like in terms of a true David versus Goliath situation. LSU's baseball budget from 2023 to 2024, $9.99 million. Murray State's baseball budget from 2023 to 2024, $858,000. That's an insane difference of money.
And they should be playing one another.
And that goes into your forever point that these are different entities, but it does create a beautiful Cinderella. What if they win?
That doesn't change the discrepancy in money.
No.
That they are at a severe disadvantage.
Yes.
And we would get one of these, every 100 years?
But you also got Coastal, like a school like Coastal Carolina that wins in 2016 and then builds their baseball program, and now their budget was $3.8 million.
You get one of these every 50 years then. You get two every 100, and then we reduce the fraction, one in every 50 years. It's just not worth it at this point. It's truthfully different games being played. You don't see the NFL out here scheduling games against the UFL teams. They're both playing football. But no, everybody acknowledges and recognizes the fact that, hey, the NFL has the bigger, stronger, faster players, and they have those players because the NFL is the league with all of the money. Like, come on, man. Don't make me keep being this guy. Just accept it. Find a different way to monetize this thing. Come to some sort of agreement with the SEC and the Big Ten. Say, hey, listen, we know where this is going. But you guys know y'all are slow-footing this because you know it's going to kill a lot of athletic departments. What can we do to get some donations from you guys to keep college sports alive and well? What can we do? Please help us out. I don't know what else you can do, but asking them to continue to go out there, the Murray States of the world, the UT Chattanoogas of the world, hell, the Middle Tennessee States, the Western Kentuckys of the world, to go out there and play the Alabamas and the Michigans and the Penn States as the money continues to grow in those leagues is unfair and it's borderline unethical.
How can you say it's borderline unethical when you have actual examples, at least in the sport of baseball, of national champions, of College World Series winners?
Champions?
Yes.
Or champion?
Champions.
Okay. Coastal,
and you had Fresno State back in like 2008.
Okay.
So you have two legitimate, and back before that you had Rice.
Okay.
So it happens. And you've had other representatives. You had Oral Roberts a couple years ago. You had another Long Beach State.
Okay. All right.
So you're trying to just nuke these programs' opportunity to win a College World Series.
Championship. And listen,
But
keep
you
baseball.
know it
Keep
doesn't
baseball.
matter. If they're playing
Keep
in a different
baseball.
version of the tournament,
Keep-
no one's paying attention. No one's doing a Rocco's Jell-O shot challenge.
Keep
Nobody
baseball.
cares.
Keep baseball. Keep it. Get football the hell up out of there, though.
Well, sure.
Get football up out. Y'all want to keep the other sports? Fine. That's the conversation you then have with them. Hey, SEC and Big Ten, we understand the split is happening. The split is happening because of football money. Y'all go do your thing in football, but let's keep everything else intact. Let's keep basketball. Let's keep baseball. Let's keep softball. Let's keep all of these other sports intact. Oh, and by the way, can you spare? You're paying everybody $100 million per school. Could you spare $10 million for everybody else so we could make athletic departments work some? Can you do some of that? I don't know, man. Like football's got to go. Y'all are right about baseball and some of the other sports. They need to stay, but football's got to go. It just does. It's not fair, and it's dangerous at this point.
I'm rooting for Murray State this weekend.
Root for who you root for.
I'm excited.
That's great.
They're a fun, easy team to root
That's
for.
great.
LSU will probably win, or Arkansas will probably win.
And Murray State is probably getting bounced into, right? And that's fine.
They've defied odds so far.
They have.
Maybe John Morant will show up. They want him there. They want him there so bad. Every time their coach talks, it's like sending the bat signal. Like, please, Ja.
Yeah.
Come to Omaha.
As well, you should.
I think it'd be
do
fun.
That. It would be fun. It would be. That's your most recognizable alumni.
That is your only recognizable alumni.
Who else is an alum of Murray State? Why do I know people?
Tell you?
I know people who graduated from Murray. They're recognizable to me. They wouldn't be recognizable to any of you. Didn't they have? Why do I feel like there's a name?
John Bosco
Fly
Bostic.
Williams. Am I making that name up? Who was at Murray State when I was in college?
Trip
People
Gibson.
knew.
He's an umpire in Major League
All right.
Baseball.
Okay. Campaign. That's another recognizable. So not the only one. One of few though. Your point is still what your point is. I rock with it. That's cool.
See if there's any other sports. Shaq Buchanan, Ja's friend and former member of the Memphis Hustle.
What if Shaq is the one that shows up? Do you think they'll be excited about that?
Hey, I'm here for Ja. he sends his best.
I'm Ja's representative.
He sends his best. Wishes he could be here. Yeah, I think that's it. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll do some Music Friday before we get into the weekend. Celebrate the careers of Sly Stone and Brian Wilson, who both passed this week. We'll get into what we're listening to going into the weekend. A very controversial Sabrina Carpenter album cover. All that and more as we get through this Friday when we come back.
Creed. By overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 tour returns. July 27th, FedEx Forum. With very special guest, Daughtry. And Mammoth. Tickets on sale now at LiveNation.com. Don't miss Creed with Daughtry and Mammoth. The Summer of '99 tour.
You've seen the Grizz line jamming on the court and rocking out on Beale Street, and this is your chance to join the best drum line in the NBA. Grizz line entertains Grizz Nation at home games and events in the Mid-South through their impressive techniques and energetic shows. If you have experience in drumming and marching and love entertaining, Grizz line is the perfect opportunity for you to combine percussion and performance. Open auditions are Saturday, August 9th at FedEx Forum. Sign up today by visiting grizzlies.com/auditions.
1, 2, 3. Ready, go.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. with special guests Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
The other thing that came out this week that we were talking about innovation and Nike and all that, they dropped these $900 hyper boots that
900.
I mean, they're a recovery shoe apparently that you wear after sports, whatever.
Who's buying it? Because all the athletes that we see, they're gonna get seated this. So who's gonna actually pay $900 for this?
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
What should the Grizzlies take away from this Western Conference Finals matchup?
The Grizzlies need more quality depth. Not just depth, quality depth.
Well, what the Memphis Grizzlies can learn and take away from the Western Conference Finals is you can't talk about it, you got to be about it.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back. Doing a little Music Friday to wrap up this week. We had two big losses in the music world. Sly Stone passed, as did Brian Wilson. Two very impactful contributors to the history of music, the present of music, the songs. Do you have a favorite Sly Stone song, CJ?
I think Everyday People.
Everyday
right?
People is your favorite? I like Dance to the Music.
It's easy.
Just because I like that.
Yeah. You think about Sly. I guess we'll go Sly first. You think about his run was only from what, like 67 to 72-ish?
Yeah.
Maybe 5 years. But the music he made for Sly and the Family Stone was so impactful that people still sample that to this day. Also, first major music group to have both black and white performers in the group, black and white men and women in the group, and there's something to be said for being able to do that in the 60s. And in the 60s, we are dealing with integration and the fight to desegregate. We're dealing with a whole lot of civil rights types of conversations. Hell, Dr. King was assassinated in 68, so we're dealing with that. And that group was able to exist and make really good music that impacted and changed what we thought about the genre of funk, R&B, and soul. So yeah, sad that he's gone, but what a life he lived and what a major impact he had on the music industry.
And it's, one of those situations where just coincidentally, both 82 years old, both passed this week, and both were so massive in the, almost like the popification of their genres, if that's a way to put it, and the mainstreaming of their genres, like the almost gospel funk pop space for Sly and the Family Stone, and with the Beach Boys, this California cool blue-eyed soul as we know it to become. And both of them did have short runs. Like the Beach Boys didn't have a super long run either, and Brian Wilson fell into some personal problems of his own, and then he came out of that later in life. But I think of the music of the 60s and being a child of two older parents who were born in the 50s. The music of the 60s is kind of their sweet spot. And like I grew up on both those artists, had both albums of those artists in our household. A lot of like 60s collaboration, greatest hits albums. We'll always have Sly and the Family Stone, we'll always have the Beach Boys. And I love that sound. For me, like that is the sound that brings me the joy of my childhood.
And it's
different, but similar.
Both of those are, like, you listen to them and it's like, okay, clearly this is a song from a different era and a different age of music, but it's timeless, right? It's good today, just like it was good 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and when it was originally made. Like, if the sun is out and it's pleasant outside, Yeah. I think, oh, this is good Beach Boys weather. And I come across them in a different way. I come across them in Rush Hour, right? Like, that's my introduction with Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker going back and forth about it. And then Rush Hour 2, Agent Carter's like, oh, yeah, no, Beach Boys is good American music. And so that's how I come across them. And then you start listening to them. It's just something about listening to the Beach Boys makes you feel good and happy and makes you want to be outside with the window rolled down here, because I don't know what it's like to live on a beach. I would assume it also makes you want to run to your nearest beach if you're on the coast and kick it in the ocean and just try and hang out and have a beach day. Great music was made by Brian Wilson and the Beach Boys.
God Only Knows, one of the greatest pop songs of all. Did we draft pop songs? And did I take God Only Knows?
I don't think you took God Only Knows.
I didn't?
I don't think you did.
It's one of the greatest pop songs ever written. That's a misstep on my part. But even the way that it ends, it doesn't end. It just keeps going. It fades into it, and the actor doing that.
That fade is incredible.
The vocals out of the instrumentals and let those live by. I mean, it's one of those things I could listen to over and over and over again. So both of them will forever be remembered in the music space. And like you said, they continue to be sampled. Their songs will be sampled today. They will be sampled tomorrow. And I would expect them to continue to be sampled forever. We did have some Grammy news yesterday. 2 new Grammy categories are being created for next year's awards. One is Best Album Cover.
Why?
And we'll get to that. The other, though, and an even bigger why, is Best Traditional Country Album.
Beyonce broke them.
Again.
She broke those
people. This is the second time this has happened. Beyonce broke them with the pop electronic dance album when she did Renaissance, and Break My Soul won it wasn't pop electronic dance. At that time, it was just electronic dance album. She won with Renaissance, and then electronic dance track went to Break My Soul. And the next year, they were like, oh, we're going to add a new category called pop electronic dance. And just after Beyonce wins Best Country Album for Cowboy Carter, now they're like, okay, well, now we need Best Traditional Country Album. Some of the best traditional, first and foremost, Beyonce's version of country music and Cowboy Carter focuses on traditional country music as the history of country music and Black people's contributions to country music and the genre of country. There have been so many pop country albums that have won. I mean, what are we doing with the Taylor Swift? What are we doing with Shania Twain? What are we doing with the Dixie Chicks? Like, those artists existed in a space of pop country, and yet they were deemed traditional country for the time. This is just so stupid. I'm like, why are the Grammys on their dumb stuff again? This is dumb. In the words of Beyonce, genres are a funny little concept, aren't they?
Listen, if I was an artist who was as talented and as gifted as Beyonce very clearly is, this would be my goal. It would no longer be to win any Grammys. It would be to break them mentally and spiritually in whatever way I could. And when you sent this, I was unaware of it. I focused more on the album
Best
cover.
album cover.
It's like, oh, okay, that's odd but interesting. I am intrigued by it.
Yes.
And then this came across, and it kind of just went by me. I was like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. And then you said it, and immediately went, oh, wait a second, Beyonce. Beyonce.
If I were the Grammys, I'd wait like 2 years. I'd try not to make it so obvious.
If you were going to do something so stupid and petulant, yes. If I was the Grammys, I would just acknowledge that there's a shift in this particular genre and accept that the shift happened and not try and create something else.
Right.
Like Beyonce is changing the way we think about genres and not just the way we think about them as a whole, but way we think about particular ones.
Yes.
She's changing the way we think about them, and music genres change over time. Usually it's a group of people who are doing it, right? Usually you come through and it's like 3 or 4 artists who are forcing that genre to change. Beyonce is good enough to change it by just her.
Yes.
So you just have to acknowledge that and accept the fact that she's one of the greatest musicians of all time at this point. You say, well, there she is. She's got it. You don't have to be so petulant about this. This is goofy.
Can't wait.
This makes you look weak.
Yes.
Which I don't know
And it
why.
makes you look reactionary.
I don't know why
unnecessarily
I don't know why the
reactionary.
Grammys need to look strong, right? It's just a music award.
But I
They're
would
not-
say different than this. Just makes you look dumb.
yeah.
Like
Takes credibility away.
Yes.
In a way. Yeah.
Which you've already lost a fair amount of credibility, but I can't wait for her to change the rock, because that's the assumption is that part 3 of the Renaissance will be rock and roll. And if
Okay.
that is the case, they'll have to change best pop rock album instead of just best rock and roll album. Like that's where we're headed. So at this point, if I'm Beyonce,
Just
my
go
main
ahead.
goal is for them to change another category.
Go ahead and get out in front of it. That's what you should have announced. Get out in
Yes.
front of it and announce, okay, she's gonna do a rock album. We're
fast.
gonna do a pop rock album category now.
I also think best album cover is ridiculous because this is the Recording Academy, and
Yeah.
this is an art, like a visual art
Yeah.
award,
Yeah.
and we don't need it. When's the last time that an album cover made you say,
There are
God, that's, I mean, it'll
there are
happen, but I'm
iconic
not
album
sitting
covers.
here. Right, but as of today, I'm not sitting here thinking of, there are iconic album covers, but they are rare. And that's what makes them iconic.
Doggy Style. What's the one with
I
the
always
baby?
think of Nirvana. That's the
Nirvana,
baby,
obviously.
yeah.
No, I'm thinking of the Black Baby.
Oh, I
the
thought you
Biggie
were
Smalls
Baby in the
album.
Pool.
The Baby in the Pool is
Also,
Nirvana.
Biggie Smalls, yes.
Biggie Smalls. I can't remember which album that was on, but that one. Did I say Doggy Style?
Yes.
Doggy Style is great.
I always think of Songs in the Key of Life, just the orange.
Personally,
that
Infinity on High is one for me.
The Beatles, Abbey Road.
Abbey Road is one of those.
Sly and Family Stone, the American flag for
Oh,
There's a Riot
yeah.
Going On, the response to
Oh, yeah.
Marvin Gaye.
Yeah. So there are some really.
Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon.
Is that the prism?
That's the
Okay.
triangle. the prism.
The prism.
Yes.
There we go. Recently, the Kendrick album with him with all of the people around. Is that with Humble on it? I forget. Is that Damn? I think it's
Yes.
Damn. J. Cole sitting up on top of the roof. I think is
Yes.
one recently as
Even
well.
Drake on the. What
in
album
the
was
tower
that?
or whatever
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Trying to think of other recent good album covers, but that's the thing.
Well, how many album covers are you looking at? We don't look at the album covers anymore because we're streaming the music, so we're not actually looking at the visible cover to the cassette tape or CD or record or 8-track or whatever else.
Now that I'm thinking about it, like I used to love album covers, but that's because we would buy CDs.
Yeah.
And so they had a special place. But certain, like I'm on the Rolling Stone, who by no means ever has a conclusive place.
Somebody
They
in the
didn't
chat,
make Kelly
Machiavelli-
Clarkson top
Tupac's
100.
Machiavelli is good. Yeah, but go ahead. I'm listening.
Like the Lemonade album cover is a recent one that I would think about.
I've never seen
like
it.
Beyonce leaning against I think it's a car.
I've never seen it.
I love the Carole King Tapestry album cover with her and a cat on the windowsill.
Okay.
Outcast, Stankonia.
Stankonia is a
Yep.
good one.
Black Sabbath. Like they have a Bad Bunny 2020 album, and I've never seen that album cover.
But you know the songs from the album.
Yes.
Because we're consuming this. So I guess not only is the issue with this category that is
SZA SOS sitting on the diving board. That's
what's the one with
very
her in the computer junkyard? Is that SZA? Yeah, that's SZA. She's in there in the computer
that's the
junkyard.
Control
Okay.
album. Yeah.
All right. So not only is it goofy because this is an auditory sort of art award show and you're introducing something visual, do they have a music video category?
I don't think so.
And so, like, what I would think that's where you should go instead of
Yeah.
the album cover. But
But you
so
have a whole
it's
award
there.
show for that.
It's there.
It's called the VMAs.
We also aren't consuming the album covers nearly as frequently as
No.
we once did because we're streaming the music. We're not looking at
Yeah.
the album. So the Grammys once again are fumbling, bumbling, stumbling over themselves. They're idiots.
But Sabrina Carpenter is going to be in the running for the first best album cover. I don't think we can show this album
Yes,
cover
we
on the show.
can.
I don't
What
think
do
we
you
can.
mean?
I
Show
don't know.
it.
It's
Show it. It's
provocative.
not that damn provocative.
I can explain it.
She's
It's Sabrina
fully
Carpenter
clothed.
on the ground,
wait,
on
time
her
out,
knees,
time out.
and
Wait,
there's
wait,
a man
wait,
holding her hair.
wait. You're seriously not going to show that album cover?
I don't know. I don't have any issue with the album cover, but based on the reaction of many people to this album cover, it feels dicey.
Is she naked?
I grew up in the 2000s. I was baptized by Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera. I have no issue.
Is she naked?
No, she's in a full dress.
Is the man naked?
No, he looks to be in a suit. He has nice suit shoes on.
So everybody is fully clothed.
Everybody's fully clothed.
Okay, explain to me what the issue is with this album.
So the issue that people are making is, her album is coming.
I interrupt, and I'm interrupting you again. Can you describe it to the people since we're not going to show it?
Her album is called Man's Best Friend. Comes out August 29th, 2025. The album cover, and it appears there are two album covers. One is of a dog collar, like a dog with a little collar that says Man's Best Friend. And then the picture next to it, which is the presumed album cover, is Sabrina Carpenter on her hands and knees, and there's man holding her by her hair, and that's the image. That's it. It's the bottom half of him. It's her on the side. She's like squatted down. It's very Sabrina Carpenter. But the second I saw this, I go, oh God, people are going to be so annoying about this. And they have been. And there is a Puritan response to the Sabrina Carpenter album that is so silly, because this is what pop stars are supposed to be. I think, you want to know what I think? You want to know what I think? I think the biggest issue that we have gotten is this idea that female pop artists have some sort of a responsibility to be marketing to like third graders. That's never been what this is about. Even when I was a kid, like Britney Spears, Baby One More Time video, I'm in maybe 4th or 5th grade, and you fall into being obsessed with it because everybody's singing it, it's everywhere, she's, growing into a star. But like, it was not made for me. And I think today there's this idea of this person is making music, and honestly, Taylor Swift is a big part of it because she makes music for everybody, and there's a little bit of a, I don't want to call Taylor Swift like a clean artist. If we're talking about like comics being like a clean comic versus a non-clean comic, it's not like Taylor Swift doesn't have any adult content. It's not like she doesn't do anything edgy, but it creates this more like all-encompassing, like kids can go to the show. It's a family-friendly show. It's for the little girls out there. Like Sabrina Carpenter doesn't try to be that. If you take your kid to a Sabrina Carpenter show, you know what you're signing up for, and thus why anyone would be surprised that Sabrina Carpenter has a like sexual boundary pushing album cover is beyond me. Now, there are some people who then go into in these trying times, why she would do the subservient man's best friend route and look to be, serving a man. It's called satire, people. It's called satire. It's not that big of a deal.
Or it's because she's a grown-ass woman and that's what she wants to do. And that's the whole point of this thing, isn't it? Isn't it?
Yes.
I'm so sick and effing tired of people wanting to do think pieces on every damn thing. You don't need to. No. It's not that big of a deal. Truthfully, honestly, it isn't. The whole point, the whole reason we are fighting for whatever the hell it is we are fighting for, so that we can do what the hell we want to do. If Sabrina Carpenter or any other woman wants to have that type of relationship, a subservient relationship, that's their choice, and let them do it. I'm pro-choice as the most right person on these here airwaves, and I can't believe that more of you aren't pro-choice. Is she hurting somebody?
No.
Is she being unwillingly hurt?
I don't think so.
Okay, then, it's fine. And that's not that mother effing risque. I cannot believe we aren't showing this.
Did you see the cover of her on Rolling Stone? I can't show the Rolling Stone cover.
Is up here like this on an album cover. It's just her drawers. That is all that is there. She is in a mink jacket, bra, and just drawers. And that is all you see. What are we talking about here right now? Sabrina's fully clothed. The dude is fully clothed. What? Nirvana, one of the most iconic albums. Don't we see a baby penis in there?
Yes.
There's a baby dick running around in that album.
That could never come out
today.
What
are we, album cover?
Could never come out today.
What are we doing, man?
And my thing with Sabrina Carpenter, too, what I love about Sabrina Carpenter is this notion that you cannot sexualize Sabrina Carpenter because she's going to do it her damn self, and it's her choice. So and she's doing it because she feels comfortable with it, and she's gonna go make her sexual innuendos that aren't really innuendos. She is Eiffel Towering at every single show she does in whatever costume of her choice. And again, that's her choice. And I think in a world where so many female artists have been over-sexualized by media, fans, whatever it may be. In today's day and age, she seems really empowered and she seems really emboldened to be making her decisions. And this comes after she just had a fantastic pop album last year. So let's get into the bigger thing. That's crazy turnaround to already be coming out with another album. Like that is some fast work. And I'm excited for it.
I am too. I love Sabrina Carpenter.
I like her man-child song.
I love it because
it makes me laugh.
You brought it up. Like she's making pop music, sure, but it is grown-up stuff.
Yes.
And everybody else, the Britney Spears, since you brought them up, I'll bring them up. Also, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, when they were at this point in their career,
yes,
they were making pop songs that just sort of went over kids' heads. Like there's nothing subliminal.
Oh, they weren't doing no. Christina Aguilera Dirty. I went to the Christina Aguilera Dirty tour. There was nothing subliminal about that. There was nothing subliminal about Britney Spears.
I'm a genie in a bottle?
I don't think that's subliminal. I think that's the exact same stuff that Sabrina Carpenter's making.
You listen to Genie in a Bottle and thought, oh, she's talking about getting warmed up before sex. That's what you heard that the first time and thought that.
I didn't think she was freaking Aladdin.
Hit me, baby, one more time. You heard that song and thought, oh, she wants him to get back in them guts one more time. That's what you thought.
And it was controversial in that time too.
Can you blow my whistle? Which one is that?
Can you blow my whistle?
Oh, why am I doing?
Oh my God! Why were we
Rider?
listening to a child?
We're not.
Flow Rider is years later.
We're not talking about Flow Rider.
Jacob,
shut the hell up.
I mean, Madonna is out here doing Like a Virgin. Like we've done this forever.
Those other two had songs that you would allow your kids to sing along to. Sabrina Carpenter
Carpenter has songs that you're allowing your kids to sing along to.
Sabrina Carpenter is openly talking about sex in a way that those other two, maybe Madonna was, those other two weren't the first album. They weren't the first album, and that's my point. The first album, they weren't. There was a lot of innuendos. They weren't openly discussing sex.
Britney Spears' first album included the songs. I think you're correct. I'm just trying to remember what these songs were because I do think Britney was very much a like her sex turn didn't come until next she's singing I'm a slave for you. There's no
right. And so that is where I was going with my point.
Sabrina Carpenter was on Disney Channel. So like even though the world has been more introduced to Sabrina Carpenter, I think that's where I'm getting a little lost on this because Sabrina Carpenter had music before her last album, but it was her last album that everyone views as like her debut.
So then I'm
confused. She already had the Britney. She had your traditional
pop
Disney Channel star
Okay.
pop rollout, but then really took off once she shifted. And I would argue Britney Spears really took off once she shifted. Christina Aguilera didn't take off singing Reflection for Mulan on the credits side of it. She took off when she wore the lowest low-rise jeans you could ever imagine and had her like dirty bleach blonde hair with the dips.
So, how many albums has Sabrina Carpenter dropped? Because that's my confusion. And I think that's why we're confused right now with one another. Because I thought I thought the last one was the only album she ever did.
No.
I just woke up one day and Sabrina Carpenter was here.
It makes it feel like Short and Sweet is her debut album. She had Eyes Wide Open in 2015, Evolution in 2016, Emails I Can't Send in 2022.
All right.
Emails I Can't Send sounds an awful lot like number 10 track on Baby One More Time by Britney Spears called Email My Heart.
Okay.
Thinking about you. From the bottom of my broken heart.
Okay.
Soda pop.
So this is what we're doing.
Yes.
And we just Miley Cyrus, Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, Madonna. Like we're just going
Hannah Montana Miley, and then she's twerking with Robert and Thicke and committing a vicious act of cultural appropriation.
I thought about Miley Cyrus earlier today, as a matter of fact.
How so?
I don't know why. I just got mad and was like, "Ooh, that damn Miley Cyrus." And cultural.
I actually thought about her because she did an interview where I can't remember where it was, but she was talking about Sabrina Carpenter. And she did a big interview with New York Times. Which
she did an interview and something came across my
Okay.
Instagram feed about something or another.
She talked about like hoping that Sabrina doesn't burn out, not from a place of like over concern, just someone who's been there, who was like part of like the Disney whirlwind of how hard you work, and now the fact that she thought, I don't want to put words in her mouth, but I think the assumption was Sabrina Carpenter putting out an album this quick after her previous album feels very Disney-like, even though she's no longer a Disney artist, but that can be in you. And so as an artist, you'll kind of like reverb back to what you grew up doing, and you end up working yourself to the bone and working too hard.
Yeah. So I guess my initial thought at the start of the conversation was, Sabrina Carpenter has taken full control of herself in a way that the others hadn't. She's doing it earlier. But it sounds like she's right on schedule.
On time.
This is just what we're finna do now. We are just finna criticize and ridicule her for how dare a woman find sexual gratification in anything. That's not what sex is for a woman.
You wanna be with me, baby, there's a price to pay. You have that stuck in my head now. In the bottle. You gotta run me the way. Did she do I'm Not? No,
that was Britney Spears.
Sorry.
Not a girl, not yet a virgin.
How dare
Or
I?
not yet a woman.
Yet a
excuse me.
woman. All I need is time.
I got like a
That
virgin
is
mixed
mine.
up.
It's a mashup.
It is.
I'm not a girl, not yet a virgin. That's a wild mash. All right, we gotta go. It's a Friday. Game
How would
4
that
tonight.
even work?
I don't know. Did you know I looked at the clock at like 9:20 and I was like, oh, we're gonna get out of here early. We're done. Now we've been talking about Sabrina Carpenter.
And we didn't even show the cover.
But I think, can we draft best album covers? Oh, I'm not here next Thursday. None of us are here next Thursday. We're
You're
observing
welcome.
Juneteenth. Thank you, CJ.
Everybody is welcome for
Thank
my
you so
people
much.
suffering.
I'm on vacation. Thank you. Appreciate it. It's about the celebration. I'm celebrating.
Oh, yes.
That's.
Just keep.
But the next one, can we do best album covers?
Jessica.
I'll inevitably
Jessica.
text you the Wednesday night before that Thursday, and I'll say, "Did we come up with a draft idea?" And Jacob, this is where you remember album covers.
Yeah, there's definitely
No,
not a
I'm not
next
talking about the next Juneteenth. I'm talking about the next Thursday.
Show. Yeah, we got to. I don't think
The
the world.
next
I don't think the
Juneteenth.
world is going to end in 2 weeks. I think we can.
Oh
do
yeah,
it.
making plans 2 weeks out feels a little dicey.
I mean,
feels a little on edge.
Bombs are going off. You got to fly a bunch of places also.
Got a lot of protests coming up on Saturday. Be safe, everybody. Have a great weekend.
What was that?